Yeah, hey everybody, this is Ian from mindfulmarketplace.com. This workflow is called, or actually, this is a worksheet called Niche and Need. Again, you can download this in your members area. You can also export this to a PDF. And, I think you'll find this really helpful. It's a simple exercise. So here we go. All right. So, what is the niche you are focusing on and why, right? So, if you are building a directory, a marketplace, a community, a any sort of authority site, and you have this sort of expansive view of who you're trying to attract or appeal to. I've done this, and it can get quite it can get quite diluted. And so here's how I think about it. So there's this idea of fierce focus, right, which many people think they are actually applying to their platform, to their projects, to whatever it is that they're building. And there's this idea of finite focus, right? And finite focus is, in my view, a much better approach to building something, especially if you're somewhat new, right? So finite focus means there's a limit or a ceiling on the quantity of clients that you can actually appeal to or attract or outreach in a given, let's say, locality, right? So the example that I like to use is like sushi restaurants, right? So I live a part of the year at the New Jersey Shore, and there is a pretty wide geographic area that is considered the Jersey Shore, but there are a finite amount of sushi restaurants at any given moment in time, right? So if I'm trying to build something new, or I'm trying to appeal to a client who is, or help a client who is, the smarter strategy, rather than building a community of every single listing at the Jersey Shore, it's to focus on one niche in a finite way, because you're going to hit a ceiling and then it's done, right? So you're building a container around your community that actually keeps you focused, and it keeps you, it keeps you, um, kind of sharp, insofar as when that project is finished, you can move on to the next one. You're building assets, virtual real estate that, can serve any number of different masters or motivations. So if you're building an online agency, let's say, and you're building and you're offering like back end services like web design, SEO, that sort of stuff, building a community that is predicated on simply capturing every single sushi restaurant in a specific geographical area, you are going to have a very easy time, right? Especially when you do this niche and need exercise, identifying what exact services that you can offer those folks to create irresistible offers, why they would sign up for your directory in the first place, and then what you can offer them in a high end back end way that transforms both their business lives and your brand and business and bank account as well. All right, so let's go through this rather than me extemporaneously sort of riffing on this. All right. So, is there a specific niche you are focused on serving? If not, try one. I have found that narrowing down on a niche, even if you're building a local directory, is a great way to get super clear, insightful, and wise about the needs, desires, and holes in a given market, industry, or vertical. You'll miss this completely if you're spread too thin, right? If you're trying to appeal to everybody, there's that old adage that you're actually appealing to nobody, right? And this doesn't mean that you can't build a directory in a local area that serves everyone. But if you're offering high-end online services, whether that's marketing consulting, web design, development, email marketing, social media campaigns, content creation, et cetera, if you focus on the one thing that one specific niche empirically needs, it's the best way to own all those eyeballs in that niche in a really authentic and genuine way. Right. So here's a quick exercise. I've gone through this many times before. I'm going to do it again here. Okay. It's a simple Mad Lib, right? not mine, right? I don't know where I got this from. Someone else. I got this from someone else who I'm sure got this from someone else who got this from someone else. But it's a very simple heuristic that is very helpful, right? People in my niche suck at X, but if they only knew Y like me, they'd have all the Z they will ever need to succeed, right? So what does your niche need, right? What is truly missing as a general rule about their blogs, brands, or online businesses as a whole? For an example, in my own business, we are focusing on mindfulness oriented professionals who want to write books and create courses, sell services, and extend their audience and influence with a platform. When I look at my ideal audience online, these guys, the vast majority of coaches and consultants, teachers, trainers, helpers, healers, and purpose driven professionals want to write a book, but they haven't done it. They want to build a list or an email newsletter, but they haven't started. They want to create a course, but they aren't sure how, right? So you can create this shortcut where people in my niche suck at any one of these things, but they only knew, let's say, how to set up an online LMS in 20 minutes, they'd have all the Z they need to succeed. They'd have all the tools, the tech, etc., to create the course they want to create and sell, right? you know, and this can apply pretty much laterally to any marketplace, any industry, any idea at all. People in my niche suck at turning website visitors into email subscribers, but if they only had a high converting website optimized for opt-ins like me, they'd start building a real list in 3 days flat. Again, that's just a rough riff on this underlying idea. All right, so here's the exercise you should do. Look at 20, 40, or even 100 businesses that make up your ideal audience. This is contingent upon how large your community is, city, state, town, industry, etc. What do they really need? Like, what is empirically true about what they'd be better off having? And then how can you offer that, right? Then do that Mad Lib exercise and write one true sentence about how what you'll offer will genuinely improve, optimize, and increase their ROI, their return on investment, when you and your solution enters their lives. All right. So here's another really quick exercise that I find really helpful. Title, type, target, and transformation. Right. So title, let's say, is shoresushi.com. Type every sushi restaurant worth trying at the Jersey Shore. So that's the type of platform it is, right? Target every sushi restaurant, again, finite focus rather than fierce in a given geographic area. Transformation, this is the irresistible offer, the rock star result, the before and after moment that people can identify later that you entered their lives. Right now with a directory or a marketplace or something like that, sometimes that's challenging to create, like really give people a rock star result. I mean, you're not really going to give people a, if you're building a Yelp, right? I mean, that doesn't really turn people into rock stars, right? But it can be a before and after moment in their business lives that's memorable to them. They got more clients from, June 16, 2020 on because they signed up at shoresushi.com and then actually hired Ian, who helped, remake and reconstitute their entire, online content marketing campaign, right? So if you can't come up with this rock star result or this before and after moment, just do that, what do they empirically need to succeed? What hole can you fill? What is missing that you can stand up, step in, and transform for them by dint of doing what you love and what you do best? What you're going to find is most sushi restaurants are not good marketers. They're not web designers. They're not, I'll tell you a really quick funny story. Actually, this is true, right? I'm a big sushi, eater, right? So the other day, my girlfriend and I went to this, sushi place that we go to all the time. And again, this is during this horrific, kind of pandemic and, this, all this shit that's happening in the world that everyone knows, doesn't need me to, recapitulate for you. But so this place that we go, we order all the time, and, we, show up and we, and she actually went in to get the food, and the receipt that we were given through this app that they're using, right, said, your account has been suspended. Please pay up immediately or you blah, 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 blah. It was like this really kind of like shocking, like, like sushi, like receipt, right? And we were laughing. I'm like, what the, like, what is that? Right. And so and it was big, bold, like letters at the top of this piece of paper. It was like really like kind of startling to see this. Right. And we thought maybe it was like a utility bill or like something they had inadvertently given to us rather than the receipt itself. But it turns out that um, they're using this app to to process their online orders, right? And it's like this kind of like for sushi restaurants only, so it's probably this national company that offers just sushi restaurant ordering, right? And and it was very funny because apparently they're having a hard time paying their bill, or they're not paying their bill, or whatever it may be, and they're giving their customers, us, right, people like us, I'm sure, as well, are getting these these like great big like sort of like dunning notices, with their receipts, with our receipts, right? So and we were talking about this on the drive home, right? Like how crazy this is, how kind of funny it is, but also how not funny it is, right? I mean, it's like embarrassing. I'd be mortified to give a client a bill that actually had, evidence of my own failure to pay my own bills on it. So, there are many ways that I could go into that business and just say, hey, let's do something for you, right? I mean, I really like these people. They have, they're very friendly to us. They're very nice. I like their kids. I thought about saying, how can I help, right? Transform, what you're doing, without acknowledging this kind of embarrassing, incident. It's now happened several times since. This was probably initially a couple of weeks ago, maybe even a month ago, and now 2 or 3 times we've gotten the same kind of ridiculous, like overdue warning on our receipt. Okay. Anyway, the differentiation declaration, right? How are you different than other platforms? Like, what do you do different that or differently that's not similar to other places, right? So, unlike other, this is where you essentially are saying, unlike other, right? We are different by virtue of X. Unlike other platforms, we only do X. I should say do X, not X. We only do X and never Y, right? So we only work with sushi restaurants. Unlike other web design companies, we only work with sushi restaurant clients that we can then promote on our directory, our community, our platform, which again is Shore Sushi in this case, right? This hypothetical example. Okie doke. So this is really powerful to get very clear about what you don't do, right? So there's always that, famous like Steve Jobs, I think, saying about design. It may not be Steve Jobs. It may just be often attributed to Steve Jobs. But design is, often not what you include. It's what you exclude. It's what you remove, right? And you can use that same underlying idea to make your own differentiation declaration quite powerful. Okay, so I hope this has been helpful. You can download this in your members area. If you're watching this on YouTube, you have to sign up to get access to this. But for those of you who are already, there's a PDF and a link, and you can actually even edit this online if you so choose. Okay, thanks so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.